Now introducing Camp Roger and Camp Scotty's new video series, Operation Bring Light.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is Reuben here again. I'm at our climbing tower and I wanted to share a message. I'll often share this with people when I take them to the climbing wall in the summertime, and we'll think about some of the ways that this can be, I guess, a metaphor for things in life. I'll start with a message from Joshua. Joshua 1, verses 6 through 9 goes like this. It says, "Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their forefathers to give them. To be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Do not let this book of the law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." I like that verse a lot. It has a lot to say about being strong and courageous. It says that multiple times. This passage is when Joshua needs to lead the Israelites into the promised land, and it's a scary time. There's some next step in Israel's history, and it's really big, and they were really intimidated. They actually had tried it once before and they bailed. They kind of backed away afraid, and they didn't follow through. And this time God is going to have Joshua lead them into the promised land, and he's encouraging them and his people to be strong and courageous. And he says it over and over. He says it multiple times. I think part of that's because it's not because they're not listening. We need to hear that, right? And this doesn't just apply to Israel. We need to hear things multiple times. And even though we know that God is with us, and we can read the Bible to remind us of that, and I think that's often what we need to do, because we need these reminders that God is always with us. And so God repeats himself in this passage when he's talking to Joshua, and he reminds them that I'm with you, and we can remember the times when God has been with us. And that doesn't mean that we won't be afraid ever. We'll still have that, but we need to be able to go back to what God's done for us. So I'm here at the climbing wall, and I have my stuff with me. I even put it on just to show you a little bit kind of how this applies here. I'm going to start by clipping in a minute. And when we're at the climbing wall, a lot of times we'll find ourselves climbing a little bit up, and there's usually a point, especially if you're new to the climbing. I'll get myself up a little bit here, get my rope tight there, and we'll keep this rope nice and tight. There we go. And so as I'm climbing here, there's a point where, I got my feet underneath me, and they're on some spots there, and I got my hands up here, and then sometimes the next spot is a hard one for me. Like maybe I feel like I barely am holding on where I'm at right now, and these hand grips are just barely enough, and I need to get to that next stop, and I know what's ahead of me. I know the next step I need to take, but it's hard for me to do that because that means I have to let go. Before I can take my hand and put it to the next spot, I have to let go of where it is right now. And then, what if I slip? And what if something happens to me along the way, right? And I don't know if the thing that's up there, am I going to be able to hold on to that? And so there's a lot of questions, and so there's some uncertainty there. But I know that that's where I'm supposed to go. So I have to just go for it. And what I have to trust is kind of like I have here. I'm attached to this rope. When we're climbing, we always have our belay rope, and we keep us safe, and we can know and have faith that this rope has us tight, in the same way that we can trust God that he'll hold on to us tight, so that even if we do reach up there and slip, the rope will catch us, and we'll be able to get back on our hands and feet and continue on our climb. So I can trust to let go and make that reach, and I can get to the next step and continue to trust God as I continue to climb through this journey of life. So there might be a time now where things are a little bit scary or a little bit uncertain, and you need to think to yourself, well, I got to make that next step, and how am I going to do it? We have to trust God. And so in these tricky times, there's a lot of uncertainty, but as God's word reminds us, let's be strong and courageous. And let's meditate on His Word for those reminders. Keep looking to God's Word so that we can be reminded of His faithfulness. Thanks.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching and tuning in today to Operation Bring Light. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow along for more video on our YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks, see you next time.